Okay, for question number 20, uh, it's it's given for assertion it's given that these vectors are the vertices of a right are represent the sides of a right angle triangle. And we know that the right angle triangle is the one in which one angle is 90 degree. And if these are the sides of this right angle triangle, that means uh, out of these two sides, uh, out of these three sides, two sides are perpendicular to each other. And if they are perpendicular to each other, that means that when the two sides are perpendicular to each other, two lines are perpendicular to each other, then the dot product is zero. So I'm going to find the dot product of A with B, B with C, and A with C. And let's say if it comes out to be zero in any of the cases, it comes out to be zero. That means that these two sides are perpendicular and would be a 90-degree angle. So that would make this triangle the right angle triangle. So let me find out the dot product of AB, dot product of B into C, and dot product of A into C. A into C. Now dot product of A. So A is 6i cap plus 2j minus 8k caps dot product with B, which is 10i cap minus 2j cap minus 6k cap. So its dot product is the sum of the product of the scalar components respective 6 into 10 plus 2 into negative 2 plus negative 8 into negative 6, which gives me 60 minus 4 plus 48, which obviously will not be equal to 0. Let's find out the dot product of B and C. So dot product of B and C would be, this is 40 plus 8 minus 12, which is 48 minus 12, which is 36, which is not equal to 0. So that means these two are not perpendicular. These two are not perpendicular. Now let's find the dot product of A and C. So dot product of A and C, 6 into 4 is 24, negative 8, and negative 16. So 24 minus 8 is 16, minus 16 is equal to 0. So that means the dot product is 0. So that means A vector is perpendicular to C vector. So the sides representing A and C are perpendicular to each other. So that means this is a right angle triangle. So assertion is true. Now, let's move on to the reason. And what does it say? So three non-zero vectors of which none of two are collinear forms a triangle, which is true. So let's say if there are two vectors, this is first vector and this is the second vector, if they are collinear. So let's say these are two vectors A and B and these are collinear. So if two vectors are collinear, if you take now the third vector in any direction, that's not going to form a triangle. So that means that none of two should be collinear, but will form a triangle, which is true. Okay, now it says that if the resultant is zero, once the triangle is formed, so the three non-zero vectors of which none of two are collinear forms a triangle, which is true. Now, if their resultant is zero, so let's say we have this triangle uh, with the sides A, B, and C represented by the vectors A, B, and C. So let's say this is the triangle. This is A, B, and C. And this is vector, let's say A, this AB is represented by vector A, B, C is represented by vector B, and AC is represented by vector C. Okay, now these are the sides. Okay. Now, if their resultant is zero vector or sum of any two vectors is equal to third vector, if we use a triangle law of vector addition here, so which gives me this is AB plus BC should be equal to AC vector. Now the sum of n two vectors is equal to the third vector, which is true, and the resultant is 0. So let's find out the resultant. So AB plus BC minus AC vector is equal to 0, which gives me AB plus BC. I can write this as negative of, this is AC vector is negative of CA vector. So now the resultant is 0. is 0. Okay. So three non-zero vectors of which none two of 0 forms a triangle, which is true if the resultant is 0 is also true, and sum of any two vectors is equal to the third side is also true. So that means assertion is true, reason is true, but this is not the correct explanation of A. So our option here would be both A and reason are true, but reason R is not the correct explanation of A. So our option should be option B for this one.
क्लास 11th वेस्ट हो गई है क्या? बहुत सारे बैकलॉग्स हैं, सवाल नहीं बन रहे, टेस्ट